Welcome back, Not So Pro. It is Tuesday. It's 6 o'clock, so you already know what that means. It is time for fantasy football talk. Today, we're talking about quarterbacks. We've waited so long. We've done running backs. We've done wide receivers. We've done tight ends. Great videos. We've done rankings from a lot of the times to 1 through 10, or our tight ends is 1 through 5. Today, we're going to do things a little different. We're going to hop on that trend, and we're going to hop on Tier Maker. We're going to hop on Tier Maker so you guys could join in on the fun. Let us know where we should place these players, give it a little comedy in here, but also give you guys the fantasy advice to give you the edge in your fantasy football league. Here we go. We got the tier list maker. If it's a little hard to see, we got 5 tiers. We got fantasy darlings, which are those guys who just you absolutely need, or if you have them, you know they're going to carry your team. Then we have starters, okay? And just a reminder, there should be no more than 12 total of fantasy darlings and starters. Okay, no more than 12. If you're in a league that's more than 12 players, if you're like me last year, that's a huge mistake. You don't do that. It is not fun, very challenging. So if you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and do that, but not fun whatsoever. And then you have your people who you bench or the sleepers, and then the people who you do not draft. And in our last tier is that guy that you tell in your one league, in your league, that this QB is good. The guy that falls for everything. The guy who doesn't really watch football, but you're like, hey man, you need to draft Drew Lock. That guy, he's gonna kill it for y'all. No shade thrown, Vince. Okay, it's just the first person that came
thrown, man.
The shade is thrown, but good thing you can't catch shade, right? It's a friendly shade. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna hop onto Tier Maker over here. Now you guys can see my mouse. The first guy up, we have none other than Russell Wilson. We are going to go in this order, okay, you guys? So we're not going to go from best to worst. We're going to go totally random. Well, not that much random, right? But we got Russell Wilson right here. Automatically, in my opinion, which we could change it until we move on to the next player, I think he's a starter here. 100%. He is definitely a starter. He's been committed to whatever team he's been playing on, which is usually the Seahawks, but he's also consistent, and that's what I like. Last year was probably one of his biggest downfalls, but that's because he got injured. But consistency is there, and now that he's with a very explosive offense, which we haven't seen just yet, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of promise there. I feel like there's going to be a lot of points to be picked up there for fantasy football. I think he is a great starter. What draft should you and here's another thing too. When it comes to quarterbacks, don't draft a quarterback before round 3. Don't do it. That is the earliest, maybe round 3. Maybe. And that's for one guy. Yeah, maybe. Because honestly, after this one quarterback that I have in his fantasy darlings, because I don't have any other quarterback there, I don't see anyone should be taking a quarterback until late round 4 or early round 5.
5, 6,
yeah. So that's how QB should be taken this year. If they're not, take advantage of that. Go watch our other videos on running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, and pick up those players. Okay, number 2. This is kind of awkward, right? Because we got Deshaun Watson, who is suspended for 6 games, but the NFL just appealed it, and Roger Goodell, basically has a decision. But he left one of his comrades to make that decision for him, but he wants him to be suspended for over a year. So obviously, in my opinion, I have Deshaun Watson as tell that one guy in your league that he is the best QB to draft. Yep. Because he is not going to play this year. He's not, So you're like, oh, dude, get Deshaun Watson. The last time he played in fantasy football, he was an elite quarterback. He was this, and that. Just hype him up. So tell that one guy you really want to screw over. Tell him draft Deshaun Watson. That's going to be hilarious, a good fantasy football prank, and take advantage of it. And also, if you do that, you're a horrible human being.
Yeah. Tell him after week 6, the NFL is going to lose their appeal. They're going to get sued, whatever. And be like, week 7, dude's going to tear it up ever since that.
Yeah. Tell him now that he's only required to get massages from the team. He's still able to do so. So draft him. He got nothing to lose. Okay, up next, we got the quote-unquote GOAT himself, Tom Brady. I was going to say his middle name, but I don't know what his middle name is. That's for the Tom Brady lovers out there. Okay, you guys. He's still a starter.
Nah,
he's a starter out here.
He's a starter.
I think he is. He is a consistent quarterback. He's not flashy anymore. Okay, he's not. But I would put him just above Russell Wilson, just because we don't know what we're going to get from Russell Wilson, right? But the Buccaneers are a contending team in the playoffs, and he's going to try to force the ball to Mike Evans, and that's going to be a great connection. So if you want to double down, get someone like Tom Brady late, probably like in around the sixth round, seventh round, that's how late he's going to go. That's what I'm seeing over there in Underdog Fantasy, and double down and get Mike Evans in the second round where he should be going. That's going to be a good situation for you, especially if you're in one of those what those called dynamic leagues, dynasty leagues, where you have multiple quarterbacks. This is also a great pick. It'll probably be your first quarterback pick. But yeah, so yeah, I got Tom Brady as a starter. You cool with that, Reed? I kind of see that.
No, I'm fine with it. Vincent doesn't like it apparently.
Yeah. I think he's a sleeper.
Sleeper.
He's possibly going into his last year. Last year he had a bunch of yards. Don't get me wrong, but he did lose Gronk. Yeah, he did lose Gronk.
That's very true.
Mike Evans last year was always injured with a hamstring injury, and I think maybe this year that's going to happen again, because usually it does happen multiple times. And Godwin's out. He's got a bunch of guys injured. Of course, he has a lot of guys coming over there because, who doesn't want to play with Tom Brady? But I think he's a sleeper just because of all of those possibilities that there could be injuries. And who he's going to rely on is running back, Leonard Fournette.
260 pounds?
Hey,
I don't know, man.
That guy's been good for a long time.
Well, I guess for now we could keep him as a starter. If we do find fit that there's, other guys better than him, yeah, then they will bump him down. But right now, Vince, just like Reed, our last schedule video, you've been outvoted, my man. Yeah, I know. So sorry. But Reed, do you agree that he goes above Russell Wilson?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah? Yes. Awesome. Next up, we got the Patrick Mahomes. There's a bet going on. We don't know how much is in the bet, but they're saying that his brother is going to do at least 80 TikToks this season. At the very least, 80 TikToks. He's going to break records. Remember, now he has Juju Smith-Schuster. He has Juju, the TikTok NFL star. 80. You're taking the under?
I'm taking the under.
I don't know, man.
Dude.
I don't know.
That's a lot.
I know it's a lot, but they're committed.
Dude, he's got so much time. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
that's like do anything. That's at the very least like 2 or more per game.
Anyways, Patrick Mahomes, obviously he's a starter. I do not have him as a fantasy darling. If we were doing this tier list last year, I would definitely have him on there. I completely fell for it. I drafted him. I drafted him in the 4th round. Yes, I drafted him in the 4th round. I got Patrick Mahomes, and it was a complete disaster for me. Oh my gosh, just inconsistency. Yes, he had great games, but he had a lot of bad games, and that's what cost me games. There's times where he got 11 points. That's unacceptable for a quarterback that you're drafting in the 4th round. And he was projected to go higher too, because he was just that dynamic. But was it the case? He lost a lot of receiving core this past offseason, even though he did gain MVS, he did gain Juju. It's still good, but it's not Tyreek Hill good. It's not. It won't compare up to Tyreek Hill. Those two guys can't. But I still got Patrick Mahomes as a starter. He should be going in the 5th round.
Yeah, man, he's like Tyreek Hill. He's gonna be spotty, so at his position at least.
I still have him above Tom though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. Next, we got the guy that I'm really high on. I got Matty Ice with the Indianapolis Colts. Can he make a difference? Can he make a push for the playoffs? You know what? I think he's a sleeper.
I think he's bench, but same tier.
He is a huge sleeper.
Is sleeper better than bench?
Sleeper is better than bench.
I think he's bench.
You think he's a bench?
I think I think he's going to look great. I think the Colts are going to do really well with Matt Ryan as their leader. But at the end of the day, I don't think his fantasy points are going to be too high He's a guy that's just gonna get it done at his stage of his career. What his abilities are, he's just a get it done kind of guy, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would probably agree with Reed. I think if you have your quarterback stats set as like regular, like no changes whatsoever, he's going to be like a 14 to 16 point guy average, which is pretty decent, but it's not like a starter material or it's not a fantasy darling. So I would agree with you, though. He is a sleeper because I think he will have some games where maybe he'll dunk it off to JT and JT will run like a whole like 80-yard touchdown or something, So there'll be sometimes.
I think he'll be very similar to like a Kirk Cousins, a guy that no one really pays attention to, but he does have the possibility to pop off, especially with that team. But yeah, he deserves to be in this area. He could potentially move up, but who knows? This might be his last year. I don't see him popping off for too long if he does. Next up, we got the guy who replaced him. We got Marcus Mariota with the Atlanta Falcons. He has Kyle Pitts. He has Drake London. But does he have the talent to continue to be or to be a starting QB in fantasy football?
I would put him in do not draft.
Yeah.
I don't
draft.
I think his position, yes, I think he's going to be week 1 starter. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I think his job is not 100% secure. If they don't see anything they like or he's just playing bad, I think they can bench him for what's his name, Riddler.
Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, Ritter.
The Riddler.
Yeah, the Riddler. I think he's a do not draft. I don't want to draft somebody who's potentially not going to start.
Yeah, I think he's not what he used to be. That's what I was saying. I'll leave it at that.
All right, we can move on then. Yeah, don't draft Marcus Mariota. I like the guy, but you never know. I would put him on bench, but I would have gotten outvoted. Next, we got the GOAT of the NFL right now. It's obvious, you guys.
I'll take it.
You take it?
Oh,
okay. Then let's change it up.
Reed didn't believe in you.
Whoa. Okay, I was gonna say fantasy darlings and be like, no, I'm kidding, guys. He doesn't have Devontae Adams anymore. He doesn't have that overpowered wide receiver that's just going to get open every single play, and there's nothing you can do about it. I will be going over tomorrow in my Not So Pro Packer Talk video of who are his wide receivers, who are the people he's going to be throwing to, and why you shouldn't worry about Aaron Rodgers. But as far as him being the best fantasy quarterback, I don't think so. I think he's in the starter area.
Yeah, I do agree. I think he is a starter just because he is an elite quarterback that will get you points no matter what, no matter who's in the backfield. How many, I don't know, but it'll be consistent. A consistent 16 to 20 points a game.
For sure.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Are we putting him ahead of Pat Mahomes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. I am.
Okay. I wasn't going to fight on any of this.
I was too hurt last year.
Oh.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes, he's in the closet right now.
Hey, man, you know what? I had him last year, Reed, but I traded him to you. So
yeah.
If you guys have a Packers fan in your fantasy, you make him trade the house like I did.
I didn't trade the house.
I know. No, it's a pretty even.
All right, the most important question here is, what is Trey Lance? I like this question because if you look at any fantasy show, even on ESPN, even on NFL Network, which I like to bash on, but all these YouTubers who do their research and know what they're talking about, they have Trey Lance as a top 12 quarterback. And here's why. So I'm just going to place him right here for now. Okay, guys. Here's why, because he is a dynamic player. You're going to hear me say dynamic a lot. He is like Jalen Hurts. But I think he could be even better because he has a wide receiving core. He has Deebo Samuel. He has a great connection with Brandon Ayuk. He has George Kittle, and he has an offensive line that could protect. That's the guy. This is the time where they're going to be getting yards. What do the Niners like to do in the red zone? What do they like to do? They like to run the ball. Who's now a mobile quarterback? That's Trey Lance. I feel like he's going to be getting a lot of points, a lot of good passing yards. And you know what? These quarterbacks get points even with yards after the catch. And you're talking about Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, one of the best players in the NFL with the most yak yards. What else do you want?
All right, AJ, I'm going to go ahead and speak for Vincent and myself here. He's a sleeper. All right, buddy. I think you're just being too much hopeful. You're faithful, AJ. You're a faithful, right? You're a Niners faithful. You're believing this guy. He could potentially become a starter. I will give you that. But I definitely will not put him as a starter right now. Sorry, buddy.
No, I'll chip in a little bit here because I told you I've done a draft like many weeks before.
Okay.
I didn't draft this guy until I believe round 12. So I don't know how serious that draft that I was doing since it was a random one, auto-generated. Yeah. But I didn't pick him up, and I wanted to give him a chance. I want to see what he's going to do. So I picked him up personally so I could track him, even if I don't get him in any of my other leagues. So cause I am a little excited to see how he performs just because my team's going to face him twice a year. But right now, I do have him as sleeper. So, Reed, thank you for speaking for me on that.
I got you, buddy. I already knew.
And for those of y'all who are wondering, in Underdog Fantasy, he is going consistently in round 7. That's Underdog Fantasy, where they pay to do mock drafts. I just look at the stats. I don't actually, do
sleeper.
it.
You've been
outvoted. Yeah, we'll move on to Justin Fields.
Sleeper,
well, we got Justin Fields.
You have to move him.
You said?
No. Just Trey Lance. There you go. Whoa, buddy. Whoa.
So Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, they haven't done anything to help them out. They got N'Keal Harry from the Patriots for what? If that guy cannot find success with Tom Brady as his quarterback, what makes you think you're going to have Justin Fields get success with this guy? If you look at practice, Justin Fields have not been looking so great, and a lot of people are concerned about Chicago. So where do you put him at? I think you should put him at a bench that's sleeper because I do feel like he still has the potential to gain these points with his legs.
We're not okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm putting him as a do not draft. The Bears are just not looking like a good team at whatsoever this year. I put him as do not draft. Do I think his career is over in the NFL? No, I do not. I think he's just in a bad situation, and that's not his fault. I am putting him as a do not draft.
I think I'm gonna put him as a bench, just because he does have Darnell Mooney. Me and AJ are probably gonna talk about this guy a lot, and possibly Reed too if we can get him on board. But he is a sleeper wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, and I think Justin Fields is gonna connect with him just enough to where he's gonna add some points and some rapport and some high classiness to his quarterback positioning as a fantasy quarterback. But again, I would not draft this guy before round 10 or 11.
Nice. Round 10 or 11. Yeah, that's pretty deep. Next up, we got a guy who's proved that he could put up points even without an offensive line. And they just reinforced it this offseason. So what does that mean? That means he's going to be killing it on the field, even above Aaron Rodgers, because he has an elite wide receiving core with T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase. How can you stop this wide receiver core? You got to get to the quarterback. And this year, it's going to be a lot harder than what it was last year. So I got Joe Burrow as a clear starter above Aaron Rodgers.
I will not argue with you. That Bengals offense looks to be one of the best in the league this year. It's going to be very hard to stop, and Joe Burrow is going to be one of the big reasons for that. That's what I meant.
Yeah, man, I don't think they lost anybody on that offensive side, if I'm not mistaken. And, I mean, those guys are just going to get more – they're just going to get better. I mean, they're going to have each other. They're going to learn from each other. They're going to look at last season's tape where they can improve, and they're going to improve. So, Joe Burrow is just the same.
Sweet. Joe Burrow, Joe Cool. Joe Burrow. Now we got Josh Allen. Where do we put this guy at?
Well, I'm pretty sure we all know what he is.
He's a fantasy darling.
Yep.
Fantasy darling for sure. I know we had our differences when we were ranking the quarterbacks, but now we're talking about fantasy. And what I love about this guy is that he was averaging 40 yards a game, rushing. If you have a quarterback that is averaging a rush of 40 yards a game, you get this guy in fantasy because he could also sling the ball. Yes, I know they lost Cole Beasley. I know they lost Emmanuel Sanders, but that's okay. They got Gabriel Davis, who's supposed to have a breakout year. And also, Von Miller has been working his work to get OBJ in the locker room. Now, if they get OBJ, imagine an offense with Odell Beckham Jr., Stephon Diggs, and Gabriel Davis, and a quarterback that can actually throw the ball. That is insane. This guy's going to score a lot of fantasy points for you, whether it be in the air, whether it be with his legs. He is a clear-cut winner.
Yeah, man. I think last year he was the only quarterback to eclipse 400 fantasy points in like a regular QB league. So, I mean, I don't see why he won't do it again. That team is just getting better and better and better every year. Shout out to our friend Vince, who's been a Bills fan for like 5 years now, and they just kept getting better each year. So I think Josh Allen is for sure uncut, if not the best quarterback for fantasy purposes.
I will agree that I'm going to put him at the top of this list. But just to be the devil's advocate, I think a lot of people are just going along with this. Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback next year, and it's just a lot of group thought. I believe, I don't remember what episode it was when I talked about how he did disappear for a few games last year. I would be a little bit wary of that. I mean, your quarterback getting you 4 or 5 points in one game could really hurt you and make you lose a game, and that would be detrimental. But I still would put him at number 1. But just want to put that out there.
Nice. Clear-cut winner. You can't get better than that. And I do believe he will have a very similar year this year. Next up, we got Calor Murray, the guy we've been bashing on all offseason. You know what? Fantasy-wise, you can't hide it. He is a clear-cut starter. I do believe he will get the ticket up now. That is not okay anymore.
We don't do that here.
We don't do that.
We're a pro.
Go. We're not.
Calor Murray show.
We're actually not. We're really not a pro go Calor Murray show. That guy is stuck up. But you know what? This stuck up little man could actually help you get some fantasy points, whether it be with his tiny legs or whether it be with his tiny arm. He will make it happen. I don't like the coach. I don't like the play calling. I feel like it's a 12-year-old playing Madden. They don't know what to do. They're just picking Ask Madden. Hey, what do I do? And that's exactly how the offense works. Okay. But you know what? He gets points, especially when D-Hop comes back. That's a cheat code right there.
But that's when Madden comes out, though.
Don't.
That's when COD.
Or COD.
You gotta bench him after October, because that's when the new Call of Duty comes out, and it's a proven fact that he gets. Was it 5? No, 6
5 or 6 points
less in average for fantasy. So after Call of Duty comes out, try to trade him right before it comes out. Okay, this is the move this season.
Get him out of there.
Mark my words, get him out of there. Trade him for an elite running back and an elite wide receiver. It will be the steal of the century, guarantee. You heard it here in NSP. Okay. Jeez. I know we just tore this guy up. Okay, next we got Dak Prescott. We were talking about the wide receiver core our last video, which was actually yesterday. Who's Dak Prescott going to throw it to? CeeDee Lamb? Who else? Noah Brown? Maybe. Who is he going to throw it to?
Shirts or whatever.
Shirts? Who Shirts?
I forgot his name. His tight end.
Oh, Schultz. Dalton Schultz. Yeah. Well, honestly, you guys, it's tough. I kind of want to put him as a sleeper. I still think he is a starter just because he does put up points. He is a good quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Is he elite? I don't think so, but we have seen him use his legs when he has to, especially in the last game against the Niners. It killed him, but hey, that's fantasy points, right? Maybe someone won by a point, but you're going to say something, Reed?
I just want to point out, just so we all know, that's our 8th spot for the fantasy darlings and starters out of the 12. So we got 4 more spots that we can put in there. We
could still keep it below 12, but there should not be more than 12 combined starters and fantasy darlings, just because you should not be in a league more than 12 players. It is horrible if you are. Speaking from experience. Next, we got Vince's guy, Tua Tagovailoa. I think this guy could potentially be a sleeper just because of what is surrounding him offensively. He has Tyreek Hill, and he has good running backs that are pass catching backs, and he also has Jalen Waddle out there. His quarterback, his tight end too, was it Gesicki? Mike Gesicki, yeah, that guy was a stud. The only problem is I did not like the offensive play calling last year. Hopefully it gets fixed this year with their new head coach, Mike McDaniels, who is an offensive guy coming from the Shanahan system. Hopefully that can get fixed and utilize that quarterback position more to get the ball out of his hands and scoring him fantasy points for your team.
Yeah, I think it's all based on the offensive scheme that Mike McDaniels brings.
Move him above Fields.
Above for sure. Yeah,
Yes,
you're 100% right.
Yeah, come on.
Almost there.
It's
like that. It's like that episode of Family Guy where he's trying to take out the stock with the. Okay, let's move on. We got Vince's other dude, the MVP candidate, quote unquote, Jaden Hurts. I think this is a guy that you should not draft. I'm just kidding. You guys know me. Last year in fantasy, I think, in fantasy he was a top 10 quarterback. I think he could do it again. But the only thing that worries me about this guy that he's only went through 6 games with over 200 passing yards. That's scary. That is extremely scary. 6 games with over 200 passing yards. That is not enough for a quarterback, but he made up for it with his legs, and now he has A.J. Brown. Go ahead, Vince.
I said it once. I've said it many times, actually. He had nobody to throw to. 0 people to throw to. Once Zach Ertz got shipped off to Arizona, it's like all that wide receiver core just decided, you know what? I'm going to pretend I'm hurt. And everybody got hurt. So he had nobody to throw to, but he is a dynamic player. And I'm not too sure if Reed's going to go with me, but I think he is a fantasy darling just because of his legs. And I think that just because of that, an addition with A.J. Brown and some of his healthy wide receivers, he's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league for fantasy purposes.
What?
I would not put him as a fantasy darling.
Thank you, Reed. I was about to lose my mind.
I'm sorry, Vincent. I will not back you here. I barely want to put him as a starter, but I do understand that his fantasy points are good.
That's what we're here for, fantasy points.
Yeah. I know.
Every week he was above 20. I think there was only 2 weeks out of the season he wasn't above 20.
That's very impressive. That's
very impressive for fantasy, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Matt Jones, for all you Patriots fans out there, Mr. He was the best, rookie quarterback in the draft. Yeah, get out of here, okay? That was Davis Mills. He was the best rookie last year. Look it up. It happened. I think this guy is a bench player. I don't think he's like cutting the edge of being that player that you're not supposed to draft, but I think that he could be a good backup just in case your starting quarterback does get hurt.
For sure. He's not going to be a big points type of guy. He's especially in that offense, he's a get it done quarterback, get the win quarterback. He's not going to have those big numbers.
Nice.
Yep.
Fitz is yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing great. Next, we got Daniel Jones, the stud himself. No. You can't even tell that one guy in your league to draft him because he won't fall for it. Okay, you take one look at this dude and he'll be like, nah, I know you messing with me. This is the guy that you do not want to draft. He is killing it in practice. And when I mean killing it, he's killing the ground because he's throwing the ball everywhere. Okay, and he's falling everywhere. Rumor has it that he got replaced in practice with Tyrod Taylor. I could definitely see that happening. And rumor has it, well, actually, it got confirmed that Jimmy G's agent's talking with the New York Giants. Can we possibly see Jimmy G there in New York? The Big Apple, the big one too? Maybe. We'll see. Moving on, we got Trevor Lawrence. What some people might call handsome. I don't think so. But I think he's a bench.
He's a bench.
I think he's a bench. I think he could possibly surprise some people. He has motivation going, new head coach, and let's see if he could do something. I'm kind of scared because we haven't seen what he could do, but we got a glimpse of it last year in some plays, some games. I got high hopes for him and the whole Jaguars team, actually.
I'm fine with that.
Cool with who?
Yeah.
Cool with that too, yeah.
Nice. Now we got Jared Goff.
No, I'm not going to speak because I'm not going to be able to outrule these two.
No, you will not.
Yeah.
This is another perfect candidate to tell that one guy in your league that this QB is good. You tell him, hey, this guy has made it to the Super Bowl before. This guy has led the Rams. I mean, if he was still with the Rams, he would have won the Super Bowl again. This guy's a starting quarterback. Remember Todd Gurley? Yeah, this is the guy that you can convince someone else that he is a stud and completely ruin their fantasy football experience.
You're wrong. You're wrong for that, man. Poor guy.
No, hey, man, we don't make the rules.
Yeah, we don't.
We just enforce them.
It is what it is. Next up, we got Derek Carr, now with the most elite wide receiver in the league. He has Devontae Adams, his old Fresno State receiver. Can he put that to use and become a starter? I'm going to leave that up to you guys because I'm kind of stuck. I think he can be a starter. I think this is the year where he comes back and stays consistent. But what do you guys think?
I think he's bench.
You think he's bench?
I think he's bench. You have to put him bench with the other guys we still have to put up there.
Don't think about the other guys, Reed.
I'm putting him bench.
Don't think about the other guys.
I'm putting him bench.
I just don't think he's a starter. I would say sleeper. Just
because sleeper.
He's never had a horrible season fantasy wise, but he's never had an extraordinary one since he broke his leg.
I would put him above Trey Lance though.
No, I wouldn't.
I would. Well, Vince?
I don't know. He can't run.
Come on.
So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Trey Lance.
You can't tell me, and I'm wrong here, okay? You can't tell me.
You were about to put him as a starter. You cannot just say that he's not above Trey Lance now.
Because I have Trey Lance as a starter.
Oh my God.
I have him as a starter because he deserves. There ain't no draft that he's going lower than 12, the 12th quarterback off the board. Ain't no draft. Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl winner.
Niners fans in these drafts, man.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I think he's a starter.
Damn right he's a starter.
Yeah.
Super Bowl winner.
I'd say he's above Tom Brady, not above Patrick Mahomes yet, but we'll see.
I think that's good.
I hope it is good, Reed. Next, we got Lamar Jackson, another big bust of last year just because of injuries. But if he could stay healthy this year, he could win you some games. He's definitely a starter.
Okay.
Over Mahomes.
Okay.
Said what I said.
He said it. He said it.
Yes, I did. Let me fix this real quick.
Perfect. Looks
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
There.
Now we got the biggest bust in NFL history. We got Jameis Winston, who's also injured right now. For those of y'all who don't know, for you Saints fans, you guys are.
I wouldn't draft him.
No, you don't draft Jameis. You don't do it. You guys are in trouble. Come at me again, man. Come at me again.
Comments.
And now we got Russell Wilson.
Oh my jeez! Did
Team
you
3?
just say that?
Team 3?
This is a dude that you don't draft because we don't know if he's going to be a starter quarterback. Right now, Geno Smith looks pretty darn good, but it just has not been determined yet.
Did he actually take number 3?
No, he's number 2.
Okay. I was like, there's no way.
No, yeah.
Pete De La Pena's here. He says, why is Lamar up there? We doing quarterbacks, not running backs.
Man.
What a hater,
Dude.
Pete. Come on, man. Lamar Jackson. Okay, tell me this. I might forgive you here. Okay, tell me this. Would you put Trey Lance in the starter quarterback position? And if you choose correctly, I will move Lamar Jackson where he needs to be moved.
This is bribery.
Nope. We're listening to our fans. That's what we're doing.
This is bribery.
But in the meantime, let's go ahead and move on.
Okay.
We got Mitch Trubisky from the Steel City, the guy who I don't believe in. I think this is another guy that you should not draft whatsoever.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't draft this guy. Don't matter what you hear. He is not that guy. You are not that guy, pal.
Potentially pick him up if he's doing good, though. He does have some good wide receivers. No.
To stretch.
That's a
They've mostly been a decent running team, in my opinion. I think that's where they're going to get the bulk of their points for their offense.
I don't know. I think they have a lot of good wide receivers.
Oh, Pete, get out of here, man! Oh,
let's go, Pete.
I am disappointed. You. Oh, I'm gonna put you last in the draft, okay? Dead last.
No.
And it's not even gonna be the snake draft. Hey man,
I can't believe this guy.
I could do it. Who's gonna stop me?
Who's gonna stop me?
I'll
apologize right now.
I will stop you. As a former commissioner to another league, I will stop you.
Oh my gosh. For those of y'all who are not going to draft Trey Lance, clip this, Nestor. This would be your biggest mistake for fantasy football this year. He's going to be locked up next year. It's going to be the cheapest you could get him. Like Davis Mills, rookie of the year last year. Not really, but, the best rookie quarterback of the year last year. I like him more than Mac Jones, but I don't like the system that he's in. I think you should put them at do not draft.
Yeah, okay. He's not going to have success this year, sadly to say it. Wish he would, but he's not.
Like I said, I like him a lot, but I do not like the system that he is in. I just don't.
All
right. We got I'm not going to say it. Okay. We got Ryan Tannehill himself, Jimmy G 2.0, 4 interceptions in a playoff game.
I think he's a bench.
He's a bench player.
Yeah.
I think he's a bench player. Right here.
Okay, I think that's fine.
I think above Justin Fields, right behind Tua, bench player. They're still going to have a good team, even without A.J. Brown. It is what it is, man. And then we got old reliable right here. Kirk Cousins, the guy who's not that flashy, but the guy who always scores the same amount of points.
I'm going to put him starter.
He's a starter.
If I'm talking right here, this is the guy I'm going to try to snag in every single one of my leagues. I think you should spend your higher draft rounds on other players like wide receivers or running backs and leave your quarterbacks for later rounds. And this is a guy that's going to be still on the board in later rounds, like round 9 or 10. That's where I'm going to draft him.
Can't disagree there. Yep.
Yeah, I would
Can't disagree. Next, we
got you guys didn't put him above Jalen Hurts because that's the correct move.
I'm fine with that.
Oh my gosh, we got Carson Wentz over here, the red head with the red helmet. This is the guy that you put on the bench.
Bench?
I think he's a bench player.
Okay.
He still does some damage. Even with the Colts last year, he still did some damage. He was super consistent, but I would rather draft Carson Wentz over Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence.
That's fair. Okay.
Cool. And plus, you got Scary Terry out there.
This is true.
Next, you got Justin Herbert. This is weird. This is awkward.
This is number 13.
This is 13.
Oh,
he's a starter. 100%.
He's a starter for sure. Ooh. I think he's actually right here.
A lot of people put him high. I don't put him as higher than Tom Brady, but I know a lot of people are putting him around there.
So now you're going with other people's advice? Because if that was true, Trey Lance would be up there.
No, I've never seen this advice. Moving on.
Do you guys know this guy's production, though, in fantasy?
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing.
He was 5 points below 400.
It's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Way better.
Way better.
You can put him higher if you want. Okay.
In reality, Justin Herbert is going second as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's him, I think Lamar and Patrick Mahomes that are all going around the same time to be that second quarterback. Number 1 is Josh Allen for sure, and then it's either Herbert, Mahomes, or Lamar.
All right, who do we move out as starter?
I say Hurts.
I don't think we should move Hurts. I'll be nice.
Oh, you know what?
Kyler.
You thinking what I'm
thinking? I think there's a height limit we need for starter.
Oh no, no, that's so mean. But you know what? That's how the road works. That's why
you gotta be this tall to ride this ride.
You can't ride the roller coaster, man.
Right there. Perfect.
I'll let AJ put Trey Lance on top of bench.
That's damn right.
I'll let you.
So this is our fantasy tier list. If you guys like this, go check out our other videos. We do a top 5, top 10 for running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Today we did something a little different. We wanted to give you guys a little visual, get into it. But yeah, just letting y'all know, we also still have our NSP Fantasy Football League. We still got a few slots available if we are going to do a 12-man league. It's going to be super fun. Free to enter, and also the winner gets a nice trophy that you get to take home. But yeah, but until next time, you guys, keep grinding.